All right, Guru Rick, I have a question. I'm a guy. I used to love what you call straight edge vegan hardcore bands in the '90s. It was that time when hardcore punk sort of became more metallic. And one of my favorite bands that was a straight edge vegan band. They kind of held the banner for that was Earth Crisis. Now I know you guys never heard of this, but love the music. Very underrated band. I think that they have a lot of songs not about sage veganism, and also they're like Second Amendment pro Constitution guys, and they're also pretty much against abortion. But the point I'm making is that unfortunately, when I see live performances of them recently and in the last decade or so, uh, except for the drummer who kind of looks like you in his build, the other guys are all fat. The lead singer, Carl, was always like a skinny kind of guy. Skater. He was like a skater kid. Like he had the Vision Streetwear shirts and all that. If anyone remembers, the dude is like 300 fucking pounds. And I'm not saying this to put him down. I'm part of me is like, okay, if you're a vegan, how do you end up gaining all that weight? And we were discussing that, so I decided to make this as a video impromptu. And I'm not. I love these dudes. I want these dudes to be healthy. Anyway, what's your thought on veganism? And you see a lot of fat vegans.
Well, if they're truly vegan, calorie restriction is calorie restriction, whether it's carnivore or just eating plants. But and this is hard for people to wrap around, but it is in the vegan society, the bread, the chips, French fries that aren't cooked in lard.
Yeah,
They're not cooked in
that's a
lard
big
anymore.
straight vegan
Everything's cooked in
staple.
canola oil or peanut oil or soybean oil, and all of these. Do your own research. The seed oils, and there's a big push out there. There's a lot of information out there on seed oils. Stay away from them. Cooking a French fry in lard is actually not too bad, but it does show that if you reuse the lard or any kind of oil, it causes it to oxidize and become rancid, and
Right,
that can be just as toxic as sugar.
right.
But as far as like a vegan gaining weight, it's got to be a carbohydrate issue, because they'll accept probably bread, and the bread is not anything you really want to eat.
Like, what about the soy? Like the imitation soy. I mean, I like some of the stuff. I'm not gonna lie. Like when you go, there's Chinese restaurants that are Buddhist. Uh, they have the Buddhist dietary restriction, which is mainly the spices on top of the meat. But like stuff like that, like the fake meat. I'm not even gonna get into like the stuff they're pushing on us. But I'm wondering if like a lot of the soy products, the tofu, deep fried tofu or whatever, is the effects of that. Maybe that's an estrogen issue. I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's what I was going to say. Look at the society that eats a lot of soy. They're small people, the Chinese, the Japanese, the Koreans. The government will push this soy on them and rice on them, and they're very small people. They're submissive people. Um, where again, the leaders are going to eat. They're going to eat whatever they want. Meat. They'll eat a combination of things.
Oh,
They'll usually be bigger as far as being overweight. They'll be a larger person, but the society underneath them that eats soy is a weak society. As a I'm going to say lethargic. They're slow. They're not aggressive. I mean, the Japanese bow. All they do is
wow.
bow,
Wow.
bow to
With all due
people.
respect to the Japanese heroes of the last century who fought against. But this is your thing. This is not my thing. So, or the great Chinese heroes of the people's volunteer. All right, yeah, just kidding. But yeah, in terms of that, gearing it back to like the king. So I think probably because the vegan diets that this a lot of straight edge people did, it wasn't even like I'm sure there's vast exceptions, but I'm just trying to figure out what's going on with all these fat vegans, and it's probably like you said, it's not even it's the absence of meat of anything that's not meat, rather than like a whole holistic plant-based diet that's well thought out. I don't know. I could be wrong, but you're
Yeah,
the
it's got to be the bread. It's got to be the bread. They'll probably eat pizza, cheese that isn't made with an animal. It'll be some kind of a plant cheese. The sauce is okay. They'll probably use some kind of bread, which is, chips. Some of them probably eat Doritos. I mean, they'll eat
I love
tortillas
Doritos.
in a Mexican restaurant. They'll eat beans, and beans are not good. Legumes, you can do your own research on
Yeah,
legumes. Um, I'm going to say not good. There might be like one brand of bean that would be okay if you soak them in water a certain way. But as far as like the keto world out there and the carnivore world out there, beans is not a go to. You're going to spend so much time getting in your nutrients from other sources that are better. And that's what it comes down to is a food, how nutrient dense is that food you're eating? Like how nutrient dense will that Brussels sprout be? How nutrient dense is that Italian bread going to be? And then look at how nutrient dense eggs and beef is. There's really no comparison. So, in order to eat a soy protein, I believe the standard is now you have to eat twice as much soy protein as compared to a whey concentrate or a casein concentrate
oh,
protein.
okay, that's interesting. All right, just my thoughts on it. All you vegans, don't jump. And you're like, yeah, jump on me. I don't care.
Yeah, go ahead. The biggest argument um, for ketovore or eating meat is, and I saw this information with my friend, is the simple statement that you can't get B12 from plants. There is no source of B12 in plants. Where is B12? B12 is in the flesh of an animal. So we were designed to eat meat.
Yeah.
Okay? All vegetarians, vegans, what's the other source? What's the other terms?
Well, there's the macrobiotic diet.
Well,
when we were
macrobiotic.
younger.
The hardcore vegan is also called what?
Oh,
What
jeez.
vegan?
Is it hardcore more than vegan? I didn't.
Vegan. Well, there's two terms, but anyway, if vegans are going to do this right, they have to supplement, and they know that.
Yeah.
Okay, they're going to feel terrible all the time from indigestion, from being bloated from the plants, but they're all, at the very least, they're going to have to supplement with B12. B12 is necessary for a human to live. You can't take B12 out. And if they don't know this, they're going to be sick. And a lot of vegans look sick.
Yeah.
So-
I say too.
And one thing about carnivore and keto that you have to remember, you do need to have your potassium, magnesium, and sodium levels. You pretty much have to keep on par with that. You can get all of these things if you eat enough meat, but it's hard to eat. I think 4 pounds of meat a day is what you need.
Okay. All right, that's cool, man. Thanks for the info. Also, remember that Varg vid back in the day when he actually when he said why veganism is not feasible. That was a very interesting vid. So
B12.
yeah, that was interesting. All right, man. Thanks. We'll do one more vid